Okay, one more thing I forgot to mention earlier. When you're doing things like this, occasionally you'll have a need to move these around. So what you want to do is lock the layers below it, because if you don't, then it's like this, and you can end up cutting right into the video, and you're just like, well, let me show you what happens. And then you've actually cut out a section of what should be there. So we'll just undo that, and then just lock the layers below the ones that you're going to work with for that reason. Because if you were to go and, let's say, actually paste something, it will automatically paste it in the first video layer, instead of where there's nothing, and it'll do that same thing. It'll actually cut the video. So having the layers locked, it goes to the first available one, which if I wanted to keep it out of the second one, I would just lock this one, and then I would paste, and then it would paste up there. So, all right, that's just a little quick tip there. All right, here we are again. So what I quickly found out was that in fact, I actually already knew this editing of any kind will take a lot longer than you think when you are when you set out to do it. So as you can see here, we have, let's see, about 48, almost 50 minutes of video, and I'm only at 17, so and my quitting time is coming up very soon here, so the time when I have to go is coming up soon. So I'm gonna go ahead and add those slides in later, and for now I'm gonna unlock these layers and show you what I do at the end. Okay, so coming over here, I've already created my end credits, which we'll drop them here in the source monitor and watch them. And yes, they run very fast. So that's the end credits. But if you, it's still playing. If you take the end credits and you put them, you see how short they are. Let's find a good place, preferably after the closing hymn. Okay, so closing hymn is done, I think. This must be the moment of silence. I do remember that part. In this sermon, I was actually able to sit in the congregation. I'm usually in the sound
He who
booth,
testifies to these things says, sure.
I wasn't needed that week, so I got a break. I got to sit in with everyone else, and yay. So, okay. Here we go.
Grace of our Lord Jesus Christ be with you all. Amen.
Okay, so
Father in heaven, take our prayer now as we have a moment of silence.
Okay, you see that? It's kind of, it's nice. It's not in his face, but it's too fast. So we're going to stretch it here. Okay, now it's way too slow. So it's still too slow. Anyway, as you can see, you can adjust the length of the speed of the credits by adjusting the length of the clip. Okay, so what I'm going to do is actually, I'm going to come back here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select that clip, and I'm going to cut it. Now, why am I going to cut it? It's because of the nice little transition I like to do. Instead of just having the credits float over everything on the side there, I like to have a nice transition which kind of harkens back to the beginning, where we have this nice stained glass image and all that. So I'll come here and I'll take this piece of video, this video clip, and okay, I'm doing this to make sure it's right at the beginning of the clip, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and yeah, I'm gonna leave the sound, and I'm going to make that little thing invisible, and then we go here, and what I'm going to do is set endpoint right there at the end, because otherwise it will go ahead and render the whole video, and I don't want that. So we will take this, and okay, that's a different folder. I want to go to February. This is February 13th, and video. I'm a big believer in folders. It keeps you from getting things confused and mixed up. So we'll call this outro. Save. Match source high bitrate. Yeah, we'll just go ahead, export, and this should take a few seconds. Well, after rendering the audio. Okay, so 24. It's probably going to go a little bit slower because of the screen capture. Okay, about a minute. Good. All right, so that is done. So what I'm going to do is open this folder, and I think I like to sometime I'll go into folders inside of Premiere, but let's see. No, it's not there. So I'll just come quickly, and I like to pin these locations. I wonder if I can, oh, okay, I can do that. Pin to quick access. That's new. I'm still learning this version of Windows, so there's some stuff I don't know about it. So that way. Okay. It's pinned. Okay, so outro. Let's bring this over, drop it into the video folder, and what we'll do then is we will take that video and we'll put it here. Now the reason I do this is because, well first let's bring it in. Okay, now obviously we need to change the size of this clip because it is too big. Let's just put it at 100%. Okay, now that brings me to the reason why I did this. what I like to do is have a nice transition where this will actually go from full size down to 50% of the screen, and then we have the nice stained glass background and the end credits going up here. So what I'm going to do is we're actually going to animate the scale and position. So we're going to put markers right there. And then let's say about here, okay, or right about there. All right, that looks pretty good for this clip length. So we're going to put more markers here, and then we're going to enter some values. So I believe it is 183, 358, and 51. Yes, okay. So now then, what we have here, this is like keyframes in After Effects. Yeah, that's what these things are, keyframes. I failed to mention that before. So now what it's going to do, we're going to watch it go down. Now, if I did that, and then eventually it goes down to 50% or 51% of the screen space. Now, if I went and did that to this clip over here, what would happen is it would not be in widescreen anymore. It would go down, and you would see very quickly, like if I do it here, and then say 183, 51. You'll see there, especially if I put something under it, that or you can see right there. Same measurements, but it's not as smooth as this. You see, it sits really nice right there, and this does not. Okay, so we'll go ahead and undo these. Yes, because we don't want to do that. Whoops, that's not right. So we'll go ahead and put it right here. So now I've done what I just did. Hazards. Okay, so we'll go ahead and undo that. Okay, so now it should stay the same size all the way through. Very nice. And then when it comes down to this point, then we'll watch it just. Okay.
Father in heaven, take our prayer now as we have a moment of silence.
And there we have, I need to turn the end credits back on. There we go. And so what this does is once it's down there, then the end credits will sit nicely
Others are returning, and we're glad to be back in this place,
right next to
hearing your
this
voice.
picture.
And others of us need
But
to
that's
recommit.
kind of stale and boring, and it could work. It could work. We could do it like that. But I like to do it in another way, like I said, with a stained glass. So we're going to go ahead and delete that. And I used to do this inside of every sequence, but what I've learned about the power of nested sequences, which is probably something I should also talk about in a later video. So what I did was I created a sequence called the end credits, and then so I have everything set up that I need, including the end credits music, and I have address and various information. In fact, I'm going to change some of this contact information. Let's see. Okay, we're going to change this one to Anderson. That's weird. Why am I seeing two of them? Okay, that was a little weird. I was seeing what I typed before. Okay. So that is the new website. So it's good. Okay, now you can see I have the credits set to push the other information up and then kind of disappear underneath it. I may go into that some other time, but right now I'm just going to show you what I do. Now these credits are legitimate, but they are not the ones from that particular week. So what we'll do is we'll come down here and I'll bring up the credits from that week, and which reminds me, from the new sermon I'm going to have to get the credits from that week. Okay, so we'll take sound, cameras. Okay, that's correct, because I was not in the booth this week. So what we're going to do is, again, right click and replace clip with clip from source monitor, and there we have it. Right, so now I don't ever have to adjust the time. It's perfect timing. And then when I come over here, I can take everything I've done here and just, remember to hit save. And then what I can do is I can take this, actually I'm going to make this end right here, and then I can lift this up here. And then what we'll do is, instead of dragging in a single end credits clip, we'll come here and we'll take the entire end credits sequence, which I just created, and we'll drop it in here. Now I don't need the sound from this clip, so
Take our prayer now as we have a moment of silence. Some of us need to give our hearts to you for the first time. Others are returning, and we're glad to be back in this place.
okay, so I don't need those. I'm going to unlink, and then I'm going to delete just the audio, and then I'm going to put this in, and then I'm going to have it come down here. So what I'm going to do, what I'm actually going to do, let me check. This does not have a fade in, does it? If it does, that's going to be a problem. Okay, good. Okay, normally there's no singing going on, so I'll just, drop it in. Stretch that out to the end there. Snap, okay. And then I need to fix this. It's kind of getting caught behind there, but anyway, you get the idea. I drop this in. I don't have to do it for everyone, and I have this nice animation. Now we still have the problem of there being nothing when it first does this. So what I'm going to do is going to take this this image here, or this one actually, and okay. So take this one, I'm going to copy it, and just like in a text editor, so I'm going to come over here and I'm going to paste it. And then I'm going to bring it over here, right where it should be. I moved it over there so that it would not overwrite anything here, as I mentioned earlier. So I'm going to take the fade off at the end, and I'm going to drag it over there. So now we have the same properties, and then it should just seamlessly blend into new one. Yeah, you can't really tell. It does look kind of strange with nothing there for a little bit, so I may need to work on this some more. But anyway, this is the general idea of how I handle end credits in a way that's, you know, visually appealing and also less time consuming, so that I can do these faster and make more stuff. There we go. Work on actually improving other parts of the production rather than just working on it. I'm gonna go ahead and put a nice fade out on there. There we go. Okay. All right, that is done. So once again, this was a little look at video editing process and a test of my screen capture software. Hopefully it wasn't too terrible. Thanks for watching, and catch you guys later. Catch. Why am I saying catch? I'm not going to catch anyone. All right.